And if you're new, I'm Sapphire Love. Hope you guys have been refining yourselves. I know I have been. Okay, so if you guys saw the community post yesterday, I said that I was going to go on live. I don't have enough time to talk about Lilith. So just to let you know, we won't be talking about Lilith, but I will be going over the comment that I received from one of you guys. Let me pull up the comment while I wait for you guys to join. Last minute, I had to do something, I have to do something in about an hour. So this is going to be under an hour. Okay. Hey guys, make sure to like the live as you join. I'm just pulling up the comments. Okay. Okay, here it is. Okay, so for everyone that just joined, I did say that I'm not going to have enough time to go over Lilith because with the story of Lilith, I'm going to need more time and I don't want to rush. So let me put this up a bit higher. Okay. Is that okay? So the comment says, can you guys hear me okay, by the way? Just want to make sure because last time the mic was making like a weird noise in the background. They should be gate kept. Why would they be gate kept? Why would subliminals be gate kept? From the ugly spirited. I mean, you can't control, like if people have bad intentions, but just because of that, you shouldn't not talk about subliminals because people need them. But anyways, let me get into the video, guys. So today we're going to be talking about the connection between Lucifer and Venus because someone left a comment saying, is this an attack on the divine feminine? Because I mentioned Lucifer in my last video. So I was like, okay, cool. So I decided to do more research on it and let's dive into it real quick. So I'll read the comment. So if you haven't already, please look into the real story of Lucifer. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I learned that even the way they depicted Lucifer was also an allusion to tarnish the divine feminine. Venus is also named Lucifer. So they went and named the most evil deity that billions of people are afraid of Lucifer as well. I'd love to hear your breakdown on this. So let's go. Guys, I'm going to read your comments a bit later because I want to stick to topic. That's why I literally have my notes out. Usually I don't really have notes, but I want to stick to topic because I'll have a limited time to get this done. And then I'm going to come back on live another time. So first of all, with that comment, like it is true. Like I do believe there's multiple layers of it, which I will get into. But these people are very smart, okay, with how they name things and what they put into certain text so it can demonize the feminine. And that's literally what's been happening here. So the name Lucifer translates to light bearer in Latin, okay? And so the story, okay, how most people know Lucifer is obviously the story of the Bible, right? You know Lucifer as probably like in your mind, you probably think of a devil with horns and things like that. But that is not the true story of Lucifer. So let's get into the two different stories that you may know. So the first one is Lucifer. I'm just looking down at my notes, by the way. So Lucifer refused to honor God's first creation of man, which was the Adams, okay? The first men on earth. So then he got shunned away. And this is also similar stories in different religions as well. Lucifer in Islam would be like a shaitan. And then another version of that is Lucifer was competing with God's glory. So his ego came in the way and then he fell down. Well, what would you do if I told you that there's actually a more esoteric meaning behind it? And it's a metaphor. And Lucifer is actually connected to Venus, morning star. Okay. So I said Lucifer equals light bearer, or some people say light bringer, and that's in Latin. But then there's different translations. So this is the whole reason why it's being misinterpreted, because of all the translations all the time. They're always getting changed into a different language. So another version of Lucifer is Phosphorus, and that is the light bearer in Greek. And then there's Hesperus, which equals the dawn bringer. So the reason why Lucifer morning star is there, because back in the days, the ancient texts and ancient religions really focused a lot on the stars. Like, it's all over the book talking about the stars. It even opens up about 3 wise men looking up at the stars, like the 12 disciples, the 12 zodiac signs. The symbolism everywhere. Like, it's for the people that understand esoteric knowledge. Like, there's some people, they don't have the mind for it, and they can only read things in black and white. And that's another trick as well. Like, they prey on people that don't read in between the lines, okay? Don't question things. And yeah, this whole thing is in code. So Lucifer is in code. And yes, Lucifer is a version of Venus. So back in the days before astronomy was advanced, when they would look up at the sky at Venus, they taught Venus was 2 separate planets or 2 separate objects. So one, Venus is the brightest planet in the solar system, our solar system. Okay, so that is also why it's also called the brightest star, the morning star. Need a quick drink. Okay, so the Venus as well is also associated with the goddess Inanna, and that's Sumerian. Yeah, ancient Sumerian called her the goddess Inanna, and then the Akkadians called her Ishtar. So I hope this is making sense, okay? So what happened after that? Okay, so what they did back in the days is they personified the planet with deities, or as deities, or as people. So then they personified Venus with the goddess of love, with sensuality, with all those things, with Inanna, with Ishtar, with Aphrodite. And then we also know another translation of that is Lucifer, the light bringer, because it shines bright. So the funny thing about Venus is you can only see Venus twice. You see Venus when it's the sunrise and when the sun is going down, dawn. So the Egyptians called it something, but the name is really, really long, so I don't want to get into that. So basically, they would think like, oh my God, Venus, like, where's Venus? Like, where's Venus? And they would think the sun would like take away Venus, if that makes sense. So anyways, yeah, so we know Venus is the brightest star, brightest. Lucifer, light bringer, morning star, shines brighter. Okay, and it's the second planet of it's our second planet. Okay, so another goddess associated with Venus would be Shukra as well. Right, next page. Yeah, so you'd only see Venus twice, and then they saw this as 2 separate objects. And even though the Roman Empire came and then they started recognizing it, they knew they had the technology by now to know, okay, this is just Venus. Like, when the sun rises up, Venus goes away. When the sun comes down, when the sun rises, we see Venus, but only during the sunrise. After that, it's gone. When the sun is setting, okay, we see Venus, but then she's gone. They realize this now. However, why did they continue to use 2 different names? So then what they did now is when Venus was up, the morning star, when it was sunrise, that was called Lucifer. And then when Venus was setting, when the sun was setting, that was called Hesperus. So sunrise, it was called Lucifer. And then when it's setting, it was called Hesperus, aka the evening star. Hesperus is the evening star, and then Venus, that is the morning star. So then why is Lucifer, aka the devil, why is it why is it associated with Lucifer at dawn? So basically, back again with the misinterpretation is Lucifer shows up one time in the Bible. And it's in Isaiah 14:12. And I'm actually going to pull it up. Hi. Okay, cool. So I'm going to read it now. So Isaiah 14:12 is a powerful prophetic declaration that reads, "How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How you are cut down to the ground. You are weakened, and you who weaken the nations." The passage is often interpreted as a reference to the fall of Satan from heaven, as well as the downfall of the king of Babylon, which we're going to get into, who had previously weakened the nations with his power. So like I said, that's the only time they mentioned Lucifer. Okay. And actually in the real translation, this is like a different translation. They said Hallel. Okay. And Hallel is another word for Venus. Okay. I think it's the Latin word or something like that. So then so the king. So you know how I mentioned the Babylonian king, right? So the Babylonian king, which they're referencing in Isaiah 14:12. So the person, Satan, is this king. It's not actually this. Okay, but we'll get into that. So his honorary title was Hillel, but that wasn't his real name. Remember back then, when people were very powerful, they associated them with the stars because that's how much like they were in tune with the stars back then. So sometimes people would have names after planets and names after stars. So yeah, Hillel was given to the king of Babylon, and he was a very powerful king at the time, and he was like a tyrant. Like he was a very evil person. He wasn't a good person at all. And basically, this was a prophecy for the king. It was a prophecy for the king about his arrogance and fall. It's about the fall of the king. And mind you, back then, this was written by Jewish authors for the Jewish people. So they were prophesying this evil king to be fallen down. So why did they keep it in there? Why didn't they just say Babylonian king? Why didn't they just say a different something else? You know what I mean? So I don't have a picture. Like if this was a video, I'd be able to like show you what is in my mind. So basically, the thing is, what they say is Hillel, aka Morning Star / Venus / Lucifer. Okay, do you see how there's multiple translations? So this is why like sometimes they put up like confusion and chaos. But he tried to climb the wall of the northern city of the gods. So basically, what it's trying to say is when Venus is showing during the sunrise, it goes back down. So the northern city of the gods is the heaven. So Venus doesn't make a complete trip all the way up. So before you know it, it's all the way back down, fallen down, the fallen angel. And then they basically they were trying to associate this with the king as a metaphor. So this is where we get into it now. Now they're using it as a metaphor for the king because as a way to describe the king's arrogance. Oh, he's trying to climb over the heavens. He's trying to climb over the city of the gods. Obviously, how can a man climb over the sky, the heavens? Okay, so yeah, it was basically a metaphor, and that he's gonna fall down, like a prophecy, which they prophesied. And basically, they swapped out rising sun with God. So they said, let me read it again. To climb the northern city of the gods, to make himself king of heaven, only to be driven from the sky by the rising sun. but they said only to be driven from the sky by God. So they changed the words. Do you get me? So basically, Lucifer doesn't equal evil. Like, Lucifer isn't evil. Lucifer is a noun. Like, the word Lucifer is a noun, and it literally just equals to the planet Venus. And it's now been associated with evil because of the king. And in my opinion, it's also to tarnish the Venus energies, to tarnish the divine feminine, to tarnish back then Inanna and Ishtar, to associate it with that, because especially back then during the Roman era, Aphrodite and Venus was everywhere. Like, if you look at the coins, they had Venus on all the coins. Like, after this, type in Roman coins, and you're gonna see all the like Venus. And why they worship Venus as well. Venus was so popular back then because, especially when you get into the fertile lands and things like this was around the Taurus, the age of Taurus. Yeah, the age of Taurus. Okay, so it's all about cultivating, building land, and like everything to do with Venus. So that's why they really worshipped Venus and worshipped the goddess. So this was like, again, propaganda to confuse the people back then, and then especially the people in the future. If they don't know the history, then they're not going to question it, and then they're going to think, oh my god, is Venus bad, and all da da da, and then it sends a message to the subconscious mind about women. And I feel like I was thinking about this the other day. This is why I was going to add Lilith into it. It's funny how they added the story of Lucifer, the Babylonian king, and made that like a he, but then they kept the name, they kept the meaning of like Lucifer / Venus or whatever. And then they removed the story of Lilith from the Bible. Like, they removed the story of Lilith from the Bible because they don't want you to have any ideas, and you to feel rebellious, and you to feel like, oh, so I can actually stand up for myself, and da da da. I will get into the story later. And if you don't want to wait, then I literally recorded a live stream on the Patreon going into detail about Lilith, even a little bit on how to work with Lilith. So check that out. But they knew what they're doing by removing the original story of Lilith, Adam's first wife, and then using another translation of Venus, the goddess, as Satan. Hi, Empress. Hi. Oh, yeah, because on my Instagram story, I was like, I think I'd rather be called an Empress. Not that I don't have a problem with that word. It was because I got a message from one of you guys, and she was like, oh, why does the word witch trigger her? And I was like, I think because in our culture, we don't say that word. Like, we don't say that at all. We say different things. Hey, love you. Love you too. Aphrodite is your favorite goddess. I love Aphrodite. Like, she's associated with Oshun. So I could even get into that later on in a different video. But yeah, we love Oshun's energy over here. It's just overflow. Everything about it is love. It's also self-respect as well. Like, but yeah, anyways, basically, this whole thing is just a psyop on the divine feminine. And I just felt like saying that message because I do know there's a lot of people that watch me and they are already spiritual, but maybe they don't know how to decode. Like, they don't know how to decode things, or they have questions and they're like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Da, da. So I know this video is not going to be for everyone. Like, I know that, but it's going to be for the people that are on a certain path and are looking for more esoteric knowledge, because not a lot of people speak about these things, especially people that look like me. Not a lot of Black people be talking about the esoteric. Like, I know when they see this and they see Lucifer, they're like, oh, the devil, what? Like, because they don't learn. They don't, I don't know. I love learning. Thank God. Thank God that I'm a curious person. But honestly, women, you have to learn your history because this goes in so deep. Like, just wait until I start talking about Lilith and I go into literally and figuratively how men wanted to be on top of women. Like, literally, like, there was a whole thing where they brought in this law and they made it sinful for women to be on top of the man, like, during sex. Like, because the matriarch preferred to be on top of the man, during sex, and then men started saying, no, we want to be on top, we want to be on top. And not just like, yeah, with sex too, but also literally and figuratively, like in everything. So then Lilith, so then the men, right, were Catholics and Muslim men. So this is when they started introducing religion, right? So then this is when they made it sinful. So basically now we're getting into grape now, okay? We're getting into grape. This is what I went through on the Patreon. So then they started graping. Oh, this is trigger warning, sorry. Lilith. And Lilith didn't want to do this anymore, okay? Lilith had enough. So then Lilith left. She left. And the big reason why Lilith didn't want to do this is because, and it says this in the book, Lilith wasn't religious. This is just something that the men brought in. So when you look at it like that, Lilith equals the dark feminine. If men created religion, then what were we as women doing? What were we doing before the men came? And when they say the men, they said the Catholics and the Muslims, okay? We were working with the universe, doing the natural way before the religion, you know? So because Lilith, aka the dark feminine, is like, why do I have to do this? Like, I'm not religious. Like, that's what you men created. So she was like, no, bye. And then she left. And then it goes in deep. And then she was able to create her own children. And then men, they created the docile woman, Eve, which is most of the women that we have today. So this is why I say that most women, you know how when you hear people be like, oh, some women are Lilith and some are Eve, we all come from Lilith. Though some people are more in touch with their Lilith side, even those women that act like an Eve, that's not their natural way to operate. They act like an Eve because that's the conditioning. Hence, when men had to create a replacement for Lilith, because that's literally what it was. It was a replacement. Hate organized religion. Yeah, and guys, okay, let me read it real quick before I get off, okay? Because I don't know why I did this so last minute. If I'm not tired, I'll come back. L. Wait, ABC. LMN. It's like an encyclopedia. Okay. Yeah, I cannot wait for you guys to listen to the Lilith because it goes in deep about how like the succubus, like she cursed men, she collecting sperm and eating babies, and yeah. Okay, Adam tried to force Lilith to lie beneath him in the missionary position, favored by male-dominant societies. Muslims were so insistent on the male superior sexual position that they said, accursed be the man who maketh woman heaven and himself earth. Cursed be the man that make himself, well, that make woman heaven and himself earth. So like now they want to curse men. Now they want to curse the men that want to make themselves earth and the woman heaven, so the woman on top. You see how they speak in code? That's what I'm saying. Like, guys, you can't read things black and white. You need to read, like, you need to learn how to decode. Next. Catholic authorities said any sexual position other than the male superior one is sinful. But Lilith was neither a Muslim or a Christian, Catholic, whatever. She snared at Adam's sexual crudity, cursed him, and flew away to make her home by the Red Sea. This is what I was saying on the Patreon, guys. Be very careful on some of the things you're learning online about history. I said this already. History. Like, men switch it up, okay? Talking about, oh God, banish Lilith. No, Lilith took herself out of there. No, no one pushed. No, she didn't. She saw that. I don't like this, okay? I'm actually smarter than you. And she left. And even if we get into that, Lilith wasn't made from a man's rib. The original story is they were both made equal from the soil. It was Eve that was made, the docile woman that was the replacement. But they didn't add that part in the book. And then they give you like the metaphors, not the actual esoteric history where they got it from. Remember, I told you guys, religion is a colonization of spirituality. That's why sometimes people read the religious texts and they're like, because I saw this video on TikTok and the girl was like, I don't know why people are leaving religion to be spiritual, like because in religious texts, like, and she was a Muslim girl, she was like, oh, in the books, like it's really spiritual. We have, yes, they did that as a way to make it believable for you to join. Like spirituality predates religion, like it colonized it. So that's why you can read. That's why I can read the Bible, because I still, shit, where's my Psalms book? I still use my Psalm, like I still use, like, so that's why you can read things and be like, oh, okay, in the Bible it's talking about Esther had to take how many spiritual baths, you have to do this, like talking about the stars, like it's all in code because that's where they get it from. You get? Yoni Tantra and Shaktism is the way. Shakti, oh my God, this is the third time I'm hearing about Shakti. And you know, I had a dream about Shakti and she was calling my name in the dream. She was like, no, she didn't call my name. She was calling her name in the dream. She was like, Shakti, Shakti, Shakti. And then I saw a bowl of fire and I was like, ooh. So did they turn Lilith into Lucifer? I was actually going to get into that in the other video as well. Like, not necessarily turn Lilith into Lucifer, but kind of in a way, because it's like they now used the word for Venus as a representation. Because this is the thing, people aren't going to do their research and say, oh my God, that's actually from the Babylonian king. And then this means that. And then this. No, they know people are stupid and people are not going to do their research. They know people, especially back then, Lucifer was widely known with Venus. Now, as the years go down the line, things are going to get lost in translation. So now people just know Lucifer equals evil and they don't know. Okay. But anyways, back then when more people knew about Venus, they're thinking, oh, so Venus is bad. Venus is this, blah, blah, blah. So basically, yeah, they have kind of like made Lucifer to be like the kind of Lilith archetype, I would say. Have I looked into the Mahavidas? Mahavidas. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay. I can't pronounce that word. Sorry. Mahavidas. Is that like, one second, let me Google it before I embarrass myself. Because I'm into like Vedic astrology and I think I definitely like seeing that. Okay, yeah. And yeah, yes, because okay, recently I've been getting deeper into Vedic astrology again. I always take breaks with astrology because I don't like to be like too like trapped into it, because I feel like you guys know this by now. I feel like when people are too into astrology, sometimes I'm like, don't. Anyways, people have been like, oh, you need to research the story of like Surya and like Shakti. Who's the one with like, yeah, Surya, because of my moon, is ruled by the sun as a Torashada. Yeah, Vedic astrology is really, really deep. It's really deep. But yeah, but guys, I just want you to know as well. And I think another thing that I wanted to make this video is that when I first started in my journey in spirituality, before I really knew how to like decode things, sometimes you may have like a little bit of fear because you don't understand what it means. And you're like, oh, I feel bad, like Lucifer this, Lucifer that. Was like, no, babe, it means Venus. Okay, these people, they're speaking in codes of like planets, stars, and esoteric things, the occult. That's what it is. It's just hidden. It's hidden knowledge. Like you may read it thinking it's this, but it's something else. I love it. I love the occult. I love breaking things down. Like, so that's when I was doing my research. I was like, I need to come here and speak. Oh yeah, they definitely, yeah, they demonize Lilith 1000%. Like, oh yeah, because I went off track there a little bit. So them being like, oh yeah, Lilith, we kicked her out. God kicked her out. No, she kicked her out herself. And then I'll get into that when I do my Lilith video, when it says, oh yeah, she collects men's sperm and she eats babies. I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into that when I do my Lilith video. Hey, Venetian Rose. Hello, hello. Vedic is a lot. It is a lot. Like, I am nowhere near an expert at Vedic at all. Yeah, like, not let it have power. Yeah, because they also didn't want, they didn't want women to get the wrong ideas and to be inspired and to actually know that, oh wait, that's us, we have that power, because they want you to still be under the Eve programming. So they don't want you to even know about Lilith at all. That's even why they removed her from the book. They didn't want you to figure out about her. And like, yeah, they don't want you to know your power. Like the fact that look, okay, God sent angels to fetch Lilith back. They didn't say that. And mind you, when it says like the God, okay, you have to question which God. Okay. Like the patriarchal God. Anyways, God sent angels to fetch Lilith back, but she cursed them too. She cursed them too. Like, do you see how powerful you are? They didn't write that. How come that's not in the book? Ignored God's command and spent her time coupling with demons whose love-making evidently pleased her better. Ooh. I'll leave that for now. Okay. Like I said, if you want the rest, it's on the Patreon. And then I should be making a live on Lilith, or I may just make a video because I need to make a video for next week. But yeah, basically the whole thing with Lucifer is an attack on the divine feminine, is attack on women, period. Like it's all to do with programming. That's it. Like, so whenever people think of Satan or think of Shaitan or think of the devil, subconsciously, okay, it's putting down women. Subconsciously, you think women are the devil, okay? And especially when it comes to men, okay? Because remember back then when they're doing the Enlightenment age, and even when I read the part of the book where it says the Muslims and the Catholics, when they're pushing out this religion, at first they're pushing it to men, obviously, because they're thinking, oh, I can have religion so I can be on top of women. Give me the book. Give me the book. I can have control. Yes. Okay, you know what I mean? So, whatchamacallit? I forgot what I was going to say. My ADHD is so bad. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Guys, remind me sometimes what I forget. You guys know my ADHD is bad. Am I going to be saving this live? I will. All my YouTube lives save automatically. All of them. You're getting deja vu. Do you know what that means? Do you really know? Guys, do you know what deja vu really is? People think deja vu is about like, oh, I've experienced this before. Like, deja vu is actually about the future. And the only way your brain can process it is if it feels like, oh, it's from the past. Tell me more about deja vu. I always do this. Like every time I'm about to go, I'd be like dropping things. I can write it down and I can make more about deja vu. But basically, deja vu is, okay, so everything is in the present tense. So whenever you feel like, oh, is this deja vu? It's because it's not like it happened in the past. It's the future. Like, I don't know if this makes sense, but it's not the past. You're just in the present tense, but it's actually the future. You're in the future. You're in the future timeline. You know, you're in a different timeline. But it's not the past. Deja vu is all about different dimensions. Yes, we have different dimensions. Time is man-made. That's why it's the goddess Kronos. Kronos is a man. God Kronos. I was reading that yesterday. I was reading my signs and symbols book. Oh, you're onto something. Yes. Saturn. And we all know, like, with Saturn as well, it's, how can I say this? Because some of you guys are like beginners, esoteric babies. Um, Actually, I'll just leave it. I don't want to confuse you guys. I don't want to. Oh yeah, let me get Chronos again. K K K K K. Oh, maybe not. Or did they spell it with a C? I think in this book, because they have weird spellings in this book. Like, I was even reading on the Egyptian gods yesterday, and they spelled Ra, R-E, instead of R-A. And I was like, Amun Ray? And then they were like, oh, you can also spell it two ways. So I'm like, oh, Amun Ra, okay. Saturn is the crone archetype. Yes. Okay, to see. Here. This book has everything. I was even reading on like the ancestors and things like that. Oh, the section on alchemy. The way we are also functioning on men's. Yes. Okay, I think that's what low-key what I was about to say. Okay, because Saturnian is like this new system that they've put into place. Like when I think of Saturn energy, it's like this system that they've put into place. Hence why the Saturn symbolism everywhere. Like if you're really into the occult, like these people worship Saturn. Like if we're gonna get into the elites, like they worship Saturn. Saturn to me, it's like before that there was the sun and the moon, and then now it's like Saturn, like just fake rigid, like society that isn't the true society. It's like, yeah. The Saturn thing scares me. Is a planet of discipline or evil stuff? I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's a planet of discipline, but when we get into Saturn, especially Saturn worship, it can be evil. Like, things in the universe are just they just are. But people can use it for evil because you are the tool. Like it works from you. So yeah, there are people that are using it for very, very, very evil things. And I mean, you've seen it all online. You've seen like Baal and what these people do and Saturn rituals and the industry. So that's all I'll say. Damn, I really need to get like more bookmarks because anyways, it had a part on Chronos. You guys know about Chronos. When you say all carries both energies, are you talking about Saturn? Because I have something to say as well with Saturn when it comes to astrology and things like that, like how it's still his story. You have to remember men are the ones that created astrology. And I don't like the way they give Saturn just like this, oh, it's just a man, or, people are like, oh, daddy Saturn. And bro, Saturn to me is actually like so feminine. Like, and it makes sense because Capricorn is a feminine sign. And I don't know. When I see Saturn, I don't think of like father Saturn and father figure. No, I think Saturn is like an older woman, actually. Wait, I just got download. Hold on. The maiden, the mother, the Chronos. I'm gonna have to do some more research on this. Okay, I'm gonna go because I don't want to be late. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the playback. I'll fix the title on the thumbnail later. I love filming on my phone because the quality is way better than on the laptop. I know you guys actually kind of prefer the webcam, that way like it's filmed horizontally. But low-key, remember I said like YouTube has been pushing out the live streams portrait mode. So if I'm gonna get like extra revenue, let me get extra revenue. But no, some days when I don't even have time to be on my phone, I'll just pull out my laptop. The eldest crone, Saturn being the oldest. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. I really believe Saturn is an older woman's energy. Like, I don't like how they just give it, oh, Saturn's a man, masculine, he. Bro, when have men ever been that disciplined? That's not a masculine energy. What? And I feel like, anyways, I could say more, but I don't want this to drag out because the more I say, the more questions you guys are gonna ask me. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. I want to say a quick shout out to the people on the Patreon. And I'm actually gonna shout each and every person. So shout out to Leona, shout out to Maureen, shout out to Grissy, shout out to Shook, shout out to Tony, shout out to Barry, shout out to Aria, shout out to Jasmine, and shout out to Kalea. Thank you guys for being on the Patreon. So tomorrow we're making scrying mirrors DIY. So I already posted the tools and the supplies that you're gonna need. And we're doing Dark Goddess series every week. We did Lilith on the Patreon. And I haven't decided who I'm gonna talk about next. Like there's plenty, I could talk about Kali, Medusa, Hecate. Okay, that's just a series. There's gonna be other goddesses we're gonna talk about too, not just dark goddesses, because there's both. There's different types. And yeah, there's going to be way more arts and crafts as well, how to make different things. And yeah, enjoy the ride. What's this book called? Which one? The Signs? I'll show you both of them anyways. Okay, so this is the Woman's Encyclopedia. What? Woman's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. Sorry, it's the way they maybe I'm dyslexic. Barbara G. Walker. No, I'm not, guys. Signs and Symbols. Doesn't have an author, just Signs and Symbols. I think that's the author. And then this one as well, because these are the books I've been reading on rotation. Okay. Oh, Susan said, love you, princess. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Same to you. Hope you guys all have an amazing weekend. Okay, I'm going to go now. Enjoy the playback. I hope I made sense. I hope I made sense because sometimes you sound crazy. Like, it's like, you know, when you put like dots together and it's like, oh, I found the piece. Like, that's actually how it's like when you get into like esoteric like knowledge and stuff like that. So that's why you also have to ground. Grounding is so important. But yeah, I'm going to go. Bye. Thank you for everyone for asking questions and joining the live.